Welcome, my esteemed colleague from afar. I want to extend my warm greeting to all of you today. It is a true honor to be part of this distinguished line of speakers. Today, I hope we can showcase the diversity, vitality, depth, and global scope of this conference program. I want to express my deep gratitude to Dr. Anastasia Ching and the Kuwait TEFL President Rana Khan for extending their warm invitation, allowing me the privilege of sharing my study on this topic. I'm brimming with excitement with the opportunity that lie ahead of us, especially during the interactive Q&A session, where I will have the opportunity to engage with all of you. Without further delay, I will delve into the subject of today's presentation, empowerment in action, decolonizing and reimagining culturally responsive teaching through the lens of community asset mapping in ELT. The crux of my presentation are centered around this framework, community asset mapping. This framework is grounded in culturally responsive teaching, the concept I will explore in more depth during this presentation. The framework drew on my own personal journey on navigating the intricate landscape of U.S. education system as a multilingual learner, a non-native English speaking TESOL professional, and a transnational. I believe many of us in this group share similar backgrounds, as we are all multilingual learner and teachers. This experience is worth exploring as reflected in the field of research today, where there has been a growing movement encouraging teachers and researchers to immerse themselves in auto-ethnographic reflection. An approach that I'm actively embracing. And I hope this presentation will successfully showcase how incorporating this approach can yield a deeper insight into the field. To provide some context about myself, I was born in Taiwan, a region that has been under the influence of many imperial powers. And the fact that I came to the United States to pursue my graduate study is not coincidence. It reflects the neoliberal order that many of us or our parents aspire to. Upon my graduation with a master's degree in philosophy, I became an ESL and social study teacher in high school, where I worked for 15 years before venturing into teaching ESL in higher education, and then becoming a teacher educator in TESOL and bilingual education. This journey spanned over 2 decades and offering a unique perspective on the ever-evolving U.S. educational landscape, particularly concerning the educational, culturally, and linguistic diverse student population in the United States. It is my hope that my transnational experience and the synthesis of my journey can shed new light on this field. And one moment I particularly want to focus in my professional life is my experience as international student in the U.S. higher education system. During those time, I felt a deep sense of being invisible, powerless, and that my voice was suppressed. And the worst part was that I didn't even realize at the time. I had no framework to articulate this feeling of powerlessness. And of course, the challenge facing multilingual students in diverse educational setting have been well documented in the literature. And we have collectively sought to alleviate these challenges. As a field, we have come a long way and made significant progresses, yet we still face critical challenges on multiple levels. The progress we have made is manifested in our effort to recognize students' culture and languages as an asset, a strength rather than a deficit. And this is articulated in the culturally responsive pedagogies, which emphasize the inclusion of students' culture in language learning and empower student voice in the classroom. There's also a growing recognition of the cognitive, cultural, and economic benefits of bilingualism and multilingualism in language education. However, there are also ongoing challenges, such as gap between theory and teachers' practice, limited cultural representation that explore cultures in superficial and extensionalist way, the need to problematize a monolithic notion of a student asset, the under-engagement in teachers' critical language awareness development in teachers' education. I personally feel the limitation of culturally responsive pedagogy in my role as a teacher educator. My viewpoint is a mirror in my experience within a suburban school environment, where one course I taught many years ago required teachers to interview multilingual learners. But during the summertime, teachers could not find the multilingual learners to interview. In addition, many teachers cite students' quote unquote low English proficiency as a reason why they couldn't proceed with the assignment. The fact that the many teachers come from non-minoritized and English dominant backgrounds, I believe has made them less receptive to view students' multilingual skill as an asset. This realization was a wake-up call for me, making me realize that we need to do better as a field and find a way to help all of us develop a more asset-oriented perspective of multilingual learners' culture and language skills, as well as a way to better identify, explore, and amplify their voices and assets. Hence, I have been searching for something to help us implement and enact culturally responsive pedagogies in the classroom in a deeper way, especially addressing the gap between theory and practice. So how does culturally responsive, what does culturally responsive look like in the classroom? And how can we nurture this in the classroom? And what is the pathway to take as a layer? Then I had an awakening experience during the COVID-19 pandemic. global pandemic is a perfect storm that triggered social turmoil, leading to a reflection on the structural scope of many social issues. Seeing community come together and make me realize that change is possible. We don't have to accept a status quo. During this time, many of us also realize the wealth of information, energy, and resources available on internet for us to explore. I connect with many Facebook group during those time, and it's during this time I create a Facebook group called Global Diversity and Inclusion Lab. It was also during this time I came across many community-based groups that integrated arts, residence, school, and communities to raise critical awareness and chart action plan moving forward. One of this group is called the Laundromat Project. It uses the community asset mapping approach to engage and build the community, and that's where I developed my that's where I got my inspiration from. I would like to invite you to watch this video on your own. Where an artist, Miss Walker, used ice cream car, an icon in the Latino Bronx community, to document the impact of climate change on community of color. And this is done by combining a statistic with memory from community members of how climate change has impacted them, whether in the Bronx or back home from the Caribbean. The ice cream car uses a pollution monitor to track the quality of air and temperature in the neighborhood and map out the changes that occur. And residents are able to interact by sharing a memory, and in exchange they receive free frozen dessert. Now let's consider how we can translate this approach into the classroom by considering the two teaching scenario. First, let's imagine a teacher showing images or videos of a hurricane that hit a coastal area, demolishing waterfront houses and leaving a trail of displaced families. The teacher then explained the connection between the hurricane's intensity and climate change. Students are tasked with reading a chapter that delves deeper into how this powerful storm formed and the factor contributing to their intensification. Following the reading, the student engaged in a structured discussion. In a contrasting scenario, the teacher began by illustrating the aftermath of the storm, emphasizing the devastating consequence it leaves in its wake. The teacher then invites students to embark on community expedition, engaging in conversation with local residents to gain insight into the hurricane's impact on their neighborhoods. This initiative results in a rich tapestry of viewpoint. The encompassing various languages and backgrounds, and offering a comprehensive understanding of how individual perspective, how individual perceive the effects of climate change. And following this, students read a relevant article to compare it with their own experiences. So these two instructional scenarios represent divergent approaches to classroom learning and curriculum design. The first scenario adhere to a hierarchy structure of knowledge, where experts hold the key to knowledge. In contrast, the second scenario places experiential knowledge and collective wisdom of community at the forefront of learning process. While one may argue that both forms of knowledge can complement each other, in reality, a fundamental hierarchy persists, where scientific perspective often overshare the community voices. And this disparity can have a profound implication for marginalized communities, as the scientific viewpoints tend to dominate, potentially marginalized and erasing cultural identities, languages, and heritages. So what is community asset mapping, and how does it help us decolonizing English language teaching? While the concept is not new, having been adopted in the field such as social work, it has yet to find a place in TESOL or bilingual education. In our field, there's a strong tendency to view teachers as the sole bearers of knowledge. However, community asset mapping emphasizes the art of deep listening, which disrupt the traditional power dynamics. It positions the teacher as a co-learner alongside students, nurturing and celebrating their identities. It is important to emphasize that the community asset mapping is not a static process. Rather, it is dynamic and dialogue-based, emphasizing continuous efforts. It provides teachers with a framework to systematically explore and mobilize existing strengths and resources within diverse classrooms. It involves viewing a community as a place with assets to be preserved and enhanced, not as a deficit to be remedied. To further understand and apply community asset mapping in the school community, I have integrated it with a culturally responsive framework developed by Egula Verdes, 2015. This framework consists of 7 components: identity or voice, multimodality, access, connections, criticality, social justice, and decolonization. Which due to the constraint of time, I won't go into detail here. Instead, I invite you to check out my blog for more details if you are interested. This framework can serve as a planning and a reflective tool for teachers aiming to empower students, value diverse perspective, and challenge the dominance of expert viewpoints. To put this approach into action, during my tenure as a NICE TESOL president, my colleagues and I envision a project to engage teachers to embrace this framework and build our collective knowledge in this respect. This project aimed to bridge the gap between the traditional classroom and the more community-centered approach. It is a journey that emphasizes agency of students, the voices of the community, and shift empowered dynamics within the realm of education. So in 2022, NICE undertook the task of compiling an ebook that utilized community essay mapping as its guiding framework. This ebook comprises a total of 15 chapters, each chapter featuring innovative ideas and strategies designed to inspire educators. Our primary goal was to encourage teachers to experiment with the concept and framework of community essay mapping, and more importantly, to develop a classroom protocol that could effectively enact community-oriented projects. It is published through Amazon and available for sale for $2. Within this edited volume, we identify 3 distinct approaches that can serve as a valuable tool for teachers. The first one is problem-based, solution-oriented approach. This approach focuses on identifying communities' needs and connecting them with available resources. The core idea here is to empower communities to solve existing problems and create conditions for positive social and economic change. The process often begins with by pinpointing existing problems, followed by discussion involving various stakeholders in the communities. This collective effort may involve a questionnaire, interview, survey, and culminate in collective action projects. The underlying philosophy is that everyday practice can lead to new form of collective action and regeneration within communities. Illustrating this approach is a story featured in this ebook, where a Brazilian teacher, Miss Susana Santos, led a recycling project within her linguistic diverse community. In her story, facing the challenge of excessive garbage in the playground, Miss Santos and her students embark on a journey of community engagement. They interview parents and community members to tap into their collective wisdom. They wrote a proposal to the principal requesting for funding to purchase additional garbage containers. Not only did their project mobilize the entire community, but it also enhanced a student's multilingual awareness and literacy skill. And this simple yet powerful project demonstrated how community essay mapping can foster a sense of collective empowerment. The second approach is we call it inquiry-based community engagement approach. This approach centers on building collective narrative and local histories to inform our understanding of present time and inspire positive change. By encouraging discussing about the past and historical experiences, we aim to promote a sense of collectivity and mutual recognition among community members. So this approach emphasizes the importance of including diverse elements of community life in the school curriculum, making tangible asset more visible. For instance, a New York City teacher, Mr. Lighton Suen, celebrated Asian Heritage Month with his multilingual students by reimagining a poem written by Emma Lazarus called The New Classes. They then interviewed their parents about their family's journey into the United States and creatively transformed the original poem into a poem in their home languages. This process fostered a deeper sense of belonging and mutual recognition, allowing diverse perspectives to enrich the shared learning experience. The third approach focused on creative capitals and communicative infrastructure. This approach tap into the creative technique such as visual arts, theater, music, film, storytelling, and design to discover and unleash the creative capital of individuals or a group. By harnessing creative technique, we can address solutions to problems and foster process of co-production. This project goes beyond mapping tangible assets and extend to uncovering and utilizing the creative potential of people or group, their ability to design new ideas, places, services, processes, or policies. An inspiring example come from a New York City teacher, Miss Karen Patterson, who worked with her Asian student to share their experience of anti-hate crime. They created a podcast series called The Dragon Kid. They giving voice to their story and standing against discrimination. Their powerful use of creative capital allow students to convey their experiences and advocate for change. It's important to note that these three models I just presented are not mutually exclusive. They can overlap and be regenerated into a hybrid version tailored to specific contexts and audiences. The ebook we compile serve as an excellent example of potential of community asset mapping as an instructional approach. It is a dynamic framework that when intentionally and consistently utilized can support and enhance culturally responsive teaching. Educators can use this framework to reflect on their lessons and to identify areas for further improvement. By doing so, we can continually strive to make our teaching more culturally responsive. So if this notion of utilizing this framework culturally community asset mapping to examine your own curriculum somehow intrigue you, I encourage you to reach out to me for more information or explore this ebook for further insight and inspiration. In closing, I want to express my sincere gratitude for your attention. let's embark on transformative journey together by integrating community access, fostering meaningful interaction, and empowering learners to become active agents in their own education. So thank you for listening and take care.